Right, let's go on
makes
to
sense.
the ugly. Right, Elise, I love this one, so come on, hit me with what's the ugly one. This is a boomer take, but I love it. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, for me, this is the worst map pool of all time.
All time.
And not only is it the worst, but like we need it before the major. Like I don't want to do this thing
Right.
like where we wait for the
Okay.
major and we're all looking at the statistics and we're like, Vertigo has only been picked 2 times
There you
in like the
go.
last
Yes.
3 months. And it's like, dude, like can we just like skip to the good part type of thing? Like I just want to like skip to that part where we have a better map pool. Like there's so many maps that just don't feel good. And I can just think of so many other times where it was just way more enjoyable to play, way more
Yes.
enjoyable to watch. And yeah, I just don't want to like wait.
Give us
this
some
long. I
maps
know
you
that we're
miss.
gonna.
What are maps you miss from the pool that you enjoyed in CS?
I mean, I liked. Well, I'm kind of like a Train hater, but if I'm looking at the pool right now, I would enjoy Train.
That says a lot.
I think that we have too many. Yeah, I think we have too many T-sided maps. Is
Yes.
what I think it boils down
Yes.
to. I think that it's more enjoyable to like watch and play CT-sided maps more often than not. And when you have so many maps that are leaning like heavily T-side or just even a little bit, it just feels a little bit lopsided. And
Yeah.
once you removed Overpass from the map pool, that
Yes.
was kind of like the final frontier. Like, what are we going to remove Nuke next and bring in Cash?
Yeah.
It's like how much further are we going to bring this? You know?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna make a point about just Vertigo itself, but I feel, yeah, I mean, the balance of the maps right now, I just feel like, I mean, T-sided, I almost just say like aimer maps. I mean, I feel like Ancient, Vertigo, Dust 2, Mirage, they can feel very brawly. Even Inferno in a respect can actually be very brawly. It's a little
And
bit more
Anubis,
cerebral.
honestly, Anubis
yeah.
is was mega T-sided.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know, like, beyond Nuke, I don't really see a single map where I'm like, the more tactical, well thought out, macro decision-making team is going to win every
By the
single
way,
time
even
here.
Nuke isn't the old archetype. It's not the 10-2 half
Oh.
of it. No, it's like you have like fucking
Yeah.
7-5 halves all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I agree with that. I mean, I wanted to know because, I mean, okay, first I'll address your point, but then I have a question. And I feel like, no, the map pool right now with like, I just think if you have a map pool with Dust 2, Mirage, Ancient, and even kind of Anubis to an extent now, yeah, like, or even Vertigo, I guess. I just need one more that's just like, it really rewards the tactical teams. And there was this Twitter account recently that posted all of the longest map LAN win streaks across
Okay.
different maps. And I think like, it showed like the 16 longest win streaks. And I think 5 out of the 16 were on Nuke. 4 out of 16 were on Train.
Sure.
And like that in itself, like 9 out of the 16 on what I consider the most tactical maps, or it just kind of shows that if you know what you're doing on that map, even if your players are on an off day, you still have a great chance to win because you're going to outplay your opponents. And I mean, you look at that win streak stuff, and I think there's only a single Dust 2, but it was like, this was NIP in 2012. So it's they were beating they had 4 of the 16
They never used to lose a
streaks.
map. Exactly.
Yeah, so like that to me that's an outlier.
Of
That one
course,
doesn't
of
really
course.
count because nobody today. I don't think anybody today is gonna have a Dust 2 win streak that's above 10. You know, like it was very impressive that Navi held on to that 11 win Mirage win streak, and I do think that they played it in an incredibly tactical way. A lot of great strategies, a lot of great misdirection and layering, and their players were very adept in the Blade Alexi system, but it's just so unlikely. Like, it's just so unlikely to have those kind of win streaks because I'm almost surprised that they didn't just catch like a Nico level player on a good day for Nico, and he just runs out mid and kills you 6 times in a row, and you're just like, okay, well, we did what we could on our T side, but our CT side got shut down because we just got outshot.
Sure. No, I totally agree with this point. I actually do think I also have made a similar one before. It's not even just bad. I think it is the worst one ever because the problem was when they removed Overpass, that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, if you notice, by the way, there's another reason why VP was sucked. That was one of their fucking best maps. Like, what you basically did is you took like one of the more tactical maps, one of the maps where the CTs have all these ability to make. Remember, the CT has the super fast rotation, but there's a giant map. So it's like, actually, you allow the CTs to have so many different styles of play. Do they play aggressively on the A site? Do they just like group up on the B site and do boosts? There's so many different things you can do. You can creep through the middle area. The T's have to always be controlling information. That's not, Vertigo is not like that. It is fucking, we all know it's like bomb site hold simulator. It's ridiculous. It should just be, they should literally remove Vertigo and it should just be a fucking feature on Refrag. That's all Vertigo is good for. Get it out the fucking pool. Because I look, right, here's the thing. I can't stand that people do, like Nico forever, because he's just salty that his team was never good on the map. He's always like, remove Overpass. I'm like, Vertigo's in the pool. And then people are like, Inferno's boring. vertigo, and then they're like, I think Mirage has played out vertigo. Can't we just a whole in one voice rise up and say, please remove vertigo, it sucks. So I think that map has never been good. I actually think, by the way, this is where I do blame Spirit and FaZe. By making that exciting game at the major, you probably let some fucking Valve dev watch that and think that map's sick. Like, oh my God, it was incredible. What a great... That was like one of the only good games ever on that map. And it was because both teams suck on it, so they couldn't do any tactics. They were just running up in the fucking site. That map fucking blows. It has almost no legendary games on it. Whereas, you know what? I used to be a hater of some of the newer maps. You know what? Ancient can stay, mate. It's actually good at this point in time. That's a map with like actually tactics play. You can frag still. It's got all sorts of different interesting push-pull dynamics on T-side. You know what? I also thought Anubis looked a bit one-dimensional. It's not bad. It's at least got like a different... It's a totally unique map compared to some of the others. It's got different things to play with. A lot of the fights are quite different. So I don't even mind what comes back, bro. Train's an obvious one because it would solve kind of some of these issues. But again, it depends what we're doing. Like, here's what's funny. In this world, even though everyone would cry... Cobblestone could be hella CT-sided. And you're all going to go, but it was played out in 2017. You know, it's like fucking 2024 now with different smokes, totally different game, a way more powerful T-side. TET economy is way more in danger. Bro, if any, and the Tech 9's mega now, you have MP, everyone uses SMGs. Bro, I think it would be, let's play it and tweak it. But then if it's not good, can't we just rework it and bring it out? Like, they're the sort of maps that I think, again, would restore some order. Because it's pretty obvious, Maui, when you really start off, as to why those are the maps with the long streaks. Meanwhile, we all know you don't get a long streak on fucking typically Inferno, obviously on Dust 2, because these are T-sided maps. So it's really hard to win T-side consistently with like 10 rounds. All the CT-side maps, it's people just frag it out. They have the good teamwork. You just shoot people when they come on the screen. Of course, those are the map win streaks. So we want to balance it out a bit. You always want the pool to be basically so that, like, you don't just want T-side teams to win. You want CT teams to win as well. But if you have it nice and balanced, then just whoever's better on each is the one that wins the tournament, innit?
Yeah, there was only one streak also for Cash, and it was like the Xantares Space Soldiers.
Fucking
and it was
hell,
probably,
okay.
Probably just because he was just...
Yeah, it's just Xantares, isn't it? It's just him fucking Ferrari peeking motherfuckers. That's not a feature of the map.
When Calyx is in insane form at that time too, or whatever.
Oh, and by the way, that's another thing like that snap tap. I always told Scream, the Belgian one, back in the day, you are a genius for bringing out that mouse that was designed by you. Because obviously the highlight movie was just you headshotting everyone. Like, obviously every noob's going to buy it. How has no one thought to do some feature like that with Xantares? Bro, every little kid would be like, oh, no, I can do it. It's like, you won't be able to, by the way. He's just like an aimbot. But he should be the face of some sort of a mouse or snap tap shit, like, you know, Zantac or whatever, you know. Fucking, there you go. It's not a bad name, actually. So write that down. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I wanted to know that with Elysian, I mean, I think a lot of us really dislike Vertigo. You guys pick it though, and you're obviously good at it. But like with the new update, like to the elevator thing, I was gonna bring this up. I didn't want to have overlapping points with you, or I mean, I didn't know what your point was or anything like that, but I knew that it was. Or Thorin said it was kind of overlapping, and so I wanted your opinion though on the latest change to it, where they just open up the elevator, because it just feels like we're just seeing way more B, and that's basically like they changed the map to almost just like funnel people to the other side of the map. Right. As opposed to creating a new interaction that's actually beneficial, like the little, the rafters on the side, and then the elevator, the wall opening up, and everything like that. What are your thoughts on it?
I think that it's just, I don't know. There's just so much that's wrong with it. I think just playing like the rounds out. I feel like a lot of the time, if you go B and like the CTs, they just fall back after like the first like 20-30 seconds, then you have like 2 or 3 CTs that are like near elevator, like super quick rotates, able to throw a billion flashes over B. So just going B is just really hard. Going mid is also like very like hard because everyone's like already right there. And then at A, there's just so many openings that like all these pushes are possible. And this even sounds like I'm saying that like the T side is hard, but it's not, because there's like so much stuff like the CT has to worry about. They're kind of like funneled into like playing for like you either super aggress like towards like the A. Honestly, it's been like the same way for a while, where you have to just choose if you're gonna like repush A, and if you happen to repush A, then they're just like all B, and the rotations are just not very. They're just very short. And the rounds just honestly just don't play out like that well. Like there's not like that push and pull dynamic that you have on the other maps where you're feeling like you have good games. It just feels very gambly, where you kind of just choose like a strat and it can just work out. I don't even know how to describe it. I feel like it doesn't play out like any of the other maps at all.
The mid-rounding for Vertigo, like, whereas on other maps like Mirage, you have a choice because you're in the middle of the map. Like, okay, wait, we spotted one guy throwing a flash over from B. We killed a guy on Cat. We know that they probably are playing like a 3A setup or something like that. It's like Vertigo's mid-rounding is just like, do we stay silent and hold? Do we stay silent then walk up A, or do we stay silent then we walk up B with like a pop or something like that? And it's like it just seems so much more lucky. I mean I'm sure IGLs at the highest level have some kind of like checklist they go through that's saying this is why we're gonna go A or this is why we're gonna go B. But I've seen some where it's like, you know, when Eternal Fire were really good at it, it just felt like they paused and then they would just choose randomly B or A to walk to, and then it was like, okay, Xantares killed the first guy anyway, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, without giving away like too much of like our thought process on it, I think like you're right. Eternal Fire, they even still play like that right now. Like when we last played them, they were playing exactly like that. They pretty much throw nades at A, and then they would just have like those really awkward timings where they're just walking up at like some point after the nades are gone. And the A ramp is so difficult because all of the angles are T-sided. Like pretty much every single one is T-sided. So the only way that you can play for ramp is if you're using all of your utility and your nades. So kind of both sides know like what's going on like with the other one, and you're kind of like trying to find like ways to, you know, catch them off guard. Like that's kind of like what it feels like. It's like try to catch your opponent like slightly off guard when they're not like using their util type of simulator. I don't know. It just feels not as clean CS as like the other maps. And if you watch like the heroic game versus us at Blast, you can see like what I'm talking about in terms of like if you don't just like go A and you push the CTs back, then if you actually try going B, since the rotations are so fast and the CTs aren't actually forced into playing on the site or the ramp, kind of like how they were before, now they can just kind of play an elevator and just spam flashes over B. And it's very hard to, I don't know. It just, the CS just doesn't feel like as clean as the other maps. And even though we are like really good at it, it's honestly not very enjoyable to play because I feel like a lot of the rounds can come just down to chance way more than in other maps.
By the way, it's incredibly telling when people who are good on the map and use it are like, actually, you can just remove that one. Like, normally they fight to the death. Also, more important, two reasons as to why they need to remove Vertigo. Because one, Elige would have won Starlight at Berlin Major if there wasn't Vertigo. And two, I wouldn't have been wrong. And that's most important of all in many ways. So,
okay, we were good on that map. They came in good after the player break.
True,
everyone was
that's true.
Acting as if like we're the dumb ones for like that. I'm just like, guys, we were good at this map too, but they just came in with a really good game plan. Just owned us.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.